Are we supposed to be in general or main game?
Main game is the correct place.
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Being handed life is good.
Yes, welcome back, Travis. We missed you last week.
Yes.
I apologize.
No, that's all right.
Responsibilities.
Hey.
Yeah, it sounded like you guys had a good time anyway. The glass staff didn't enjoy it so much.
No. No, some of the well, you were here for the fight. The Glassstaff's minions were convinced that maybe they weren't on the right team, and he, in an act of desperation, he threatened them. Amira cast a spell, one of her patented spells, knocked out one of the party's allies, and one of the bugbears said, "Oh, he just did something," and whacked him, brained him with
with his morning
star. Yeah,
that's the.
And then he got eaten.
Yeah,
He fed him to the slime.
Yep.
Yeah, see, that's the good thing about table talk on Tuesdays. You can catch up on this game and the other games. And I was like, what?
Yeah, it's now we're left with the question of which of the other things do we want to do?
We want to take over the world, of course.
Right.
Like we do every night.
Yes.
Pinky and the Brain.
Yep.
I don't
I
know,
love
Brain.
that cartoon.
How do we get the chicken to wear the rubber pants?
I will say, if you ever get a chance to meet Rob Paulson, do it, because he is the nicest guy I have ever met. Very, very appreciative of his fans. He's so awesome and so sweet.
Oh, is that the voice actor?
That is the guy that does Pinky and Yakko.
Okay.
Yeah, and he does a couple others, but those are the main ones that he's known for. So, luckily, I've had a chance to meet Maurice LaMarche, who does the voice of the Brain, and I did line control for Jess Harnell, Planet Comic-Con a couple years ago, and he does the voice of Wacko and a couple of other odds and ends. But yeah, those guys are an awesome group of guys. They really are.
Who did the voice of Mindy and Buttons?
You know what? I don't know. I haven't ever met any of the female actor or actresses or whatever for that show.
I didn't know if it was a female or male sometimes.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to meet the lady that does Dot, so...
Silly puppy.
That poor dog. Oh. So at the end of it, every episode, like he done something wrong, but then then he gets his hug and he's like, okay, it's worth it.
Okay, it's worth it. It's worth getting yelled at.
All right.
Let's see.
Have you watched any of the new Pinky and the Brain or any of the new Animaniacs?
No, they have that on Hulu, right?
Right. And I've only watched a couple of episodes, but one of the Pinky and the Brain ones, I mean, they're all funny, but oh my God.
They remade
One of them. Huh?
It's the first time hearing of that. They remade it.
They didn't remake it. They picked up where they left off. Like 20 years later. So,
excuse me while I Google this.
Yes, it's on Hulu. But the other question is have you guys seen the, I think it's postmodern jukebox version of Pinky and the Brain?
No.
Oh, I get to show you guys something new. I get to geek out. Let me find it here. Because it is well worth the listen and the watch because Maurice LaMarche and Rob Paulson both are in it.
Oh, wow. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to Retro Saturday, otherwise known as the Lost Mine of Old D&D, where we are remembering favorite. What did it used to be called? Adult Swim? Was that what they called it when Cartoon Network was new and shiny and the world was all innocent back in the 1990s? When back in them days, days
Them
of
good
our
old
youth.
days, you know.
Before
Back
we had
when
to
we
say,
didn't have
"Get
such
off my
things as
lawn."
cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no internet in the 1990.
All right, welcome everybody. My name is DM Gallibond, and I am joined tonight by Amira with Amy, by Travis with Theolis, and by Gooney with Mason. And we are here for session 13 of the Lost Mine of original
Ooh.
D&D.
Lucky
And
13.
yeah, lucky 13. And we are now at a bit of a crossroads. We have some choices. We have some choices in front of us. There's the big culmination of a story arc happened last week, actually 2 weeks ago, when there was a huge fight that saw the party basically best the Red Brands in their hideout at Trisendar Manor. Then last week, we went through a bit of the cleanup from that. They explored around. They found some treasure. Travis, I think in the Discord, you should see where there was some treasure that Theolis got out of all that. And there's they're also now have a sort of a menu of choices of things that they can do next. I believe where we finished up last week is we finished up with the party at a celebration of sorts at Stonehill Inn that was being organized by the town because they're so grateful that they don't have the Red Brands to worry about anymore. But there's still a few things sort of on the list. There's a banshee they know about. There are a few other things. Clark and the couple of the other bugbears, or at least one of the other bugbears, and the goblins are off at Trisendar Manor, and I'm about to sneeze, so I am going to mute myself. Okay, back. The Clark and the other goblinoids are doing the early stages of renovation at Trisendar Manor, trying to avoid the green slime. while they work, there are there's a banshee to deal with. Eventually, somewhere down the line, they know they want to try to find this. They know they want to try to find this black spider. There's also Cragmaw Castle they can deal with. We still have bumping around with the party. We still have Sildar Hallwinter and the two retainers, two human fighters that are friends of his. And so we've got a bit of stuff that we can tackle. It's just a matter of what order does the party want to tackle it all in. So I will turn it over to the party members in the midst of the celebration, and y'all can take it away. And welcome, chat. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Okay. So we're in the middle of a celebration. And let's see here. I will be following along behind the new ruler / leader, Her Excellency. Looking sneaky, tough, scaring away the pickpockets.
All right.
Knee-high private eye.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing, Amira?
This is a party, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Funnel cake. You must find it.
Funnel
Her
cake.
Excellency
Funnel
wants
Yes.
funnel cake.
And you are at the Stonehill Inn, and Mr. Stonehill looks a little confused, and then one of the servers says, "Oh, I know a funnel cake. There is funnel cake in my city. Um, I can show you. It's very easy." And so they run off, and they there's a flurry of activity in the kitchen, and after a bit, you start to smell the odor of some cinnamon coming from the kitchen, and there's a plate that is brought out, and it has normally funnel cake kind of looks like it was extruded in a sort of a little snaky rope of uh, dough that's fried and cooked on itself and everything, and piled up. This comes out looking a little bit less like that and a little bit more like thick, wide hotcakes.
Like
However,
fry bread.
pardon me,
Fry bread.
fry bread.
Sorry, it's a Native American thing. Fry bread.
Oh, okay, all right. But when you get a whiff of it, smells like funnel cake, and they have drizzled some, or they sprinkled some powdered sugar on it, and they have some sort of thick, warm, gooey, berry-based, syrupy type stuff that you can pour over it, and it smells like funnel cake. Doesn't quite look like funnel cake, but it is there and it is presented, and the young lady says, or one of the servers that had been working with the with Mistress Stonehill says, "Oh, uh, uh, we do not have the cone that normally is used to extrude it, but we were able to make the batter the same way. So I believe it should taste about the same." And they offer it up and hope that you guys will enjoy it. Is anybody going to try this?
I step forward and go, Your Excellency, before you eat it, let me taste it to make sure it's safe.
I have a feeling you just want to eat it, but go ahead.
Safety
So-
first, of
He
course.
pulls a corner off of it, just a small pinch full, sticks it in his mouth.
Mm.
Mm.
Is
And then he
Mason
kind of
familiar?
waits for a moment. Yeah,
Is Mason
good.
familiar? Is Mason familiar with funnel cake?
probably not,
Okay.
but it tastes good.
It tastes. Okay, Amira.
Mhm.
Then describe for Mason, what should it taste like if it tastes like funnel cake?
Well, since this one isn't extruded, it shouldn't taste airy, but also should taste a little bit dense as this one isn't extruded. It should taste sugary and delicious.
This is definitely sugary. This is definitely delicious.
And greasy.
And it's
'Cause it's-
kind of greasy.
If
'Cause
you
it's
do
fried.
not feel like you're about to go into a sugar coma,
Right.
then it's not done right.
Well, that's pretty much what it
Could
tastes
Brimley
like, and
walks across the background.
I didn't drop dead, so it should be safe. There you go, Your Excellency.
I'm sorry, Theolis. What did you say?
I was saying Wilford Brimley walked across the background.
Yeah, watch out there for diabetes. But
So he motions for Her Excellency to partake. So
I've already taken the plate. It's funnel cake time. What I've been waiting for.
Okay, once they see that you guys like it, they quickly scurry back in the kitchen, and you start to smell more of the stuff being created, because now that the heroes who have vanquished the red brands like this stuff, everybody's starting to say, "Oh, I want to try some. I want to try some," and so they are starting to order that, and they realize, okay, we now need one of those cake icing bags. And if we don't have one, and one isn't found soon, we might have to turn to the goblins and ask them to invent it. So,
But we need a name so we can have funnel cake named after us.
okay. Well then, that's another task on your list, is for you guys to come up with a name for yourselves. All right.
Her Excellency's excellent funnel cake.
All right. So I believe we have the. Did we actually leave town and head to something last
No.
week?
I think
can't
we called it quits at the party because we were waiting for Travis to be able to log in.
Okay. All right. So what we have is we have the area of the Tribor Trail that we can explore, which includes the ruins of Coneyberry and Agatha's Lair. That is where the Banshee is. I think you guys. No, you haven't been there yet. There's also the Old Owl Well that you can go to. The Orchard Keeper was interested in you looking there. This is the Old Owl Well is like the ruins of an old watchtower, and he had said something about there was some magical artifacts maybe that were there, but some miners had tried to go in there recently and were run off because there were some undead around the area. There's the ruins of the town Thunder Tree, and the cleric from the shrine had suggested you go there to find out more about maybe where this glass spider is, because she knows a druid who often dwells in those parts. You guys have already gone and dealt with the orcs at Wyvern Tor, so we don't need to do that one. But so you do have the Banshee, Thunder Tree, and the Old Owl Well. That are 3 possibilities. And those are all along the Tribor Trail.
Now, weren't we advised that to deal with banshees and the undead, we needed silvered weapons?
The well, there was a silver comb that you were given, and there are some. You guys would know as adventurers, there are some kinds of creatures that it requires silvered weapons to deal with, and the smith here can treat the edges of bladed weapons with silver, so can give can add silver to a dagger or a sword or an axe or
Nice.
any of those types of things. And it will cost a little bit of money, but other than that, he can usually do. He and his apprentice can usually silver a couple of weapons in a day, if that's what they're doing, because they kind of have to go and grind down the edges of the weapon and then melt the silver, spread the silver, temper it, and then that they do that a couple of times to make sure that there's a nice good coating of silver that bonds with the steel of the weapon, and then they can give that back to you. Or actually, at this point in time, we're not being terribly particular about the metals, the actual metals that are being used. But at this point in time, the level of technology in terms of making weapons and everything in this empire, it's kind of a Bronze Age level of technology. So the weapons work exactly the same as they do in the rules of D&D, but they're not quite as sturdy as iron weapons, not quite as durable as iron weapons, and those types of things and whatnot. And mechanically, they work the same because everything you're fighting is using the same technology. So it's all good. But that's sort of where we are in the level of development of this.
That I'm gonna need some, like, since I do mostly archery and the daggers, I'll need my arrow tips. basically fiddled with as far as attaching silver.
Okay. They can uh, they can do a score of arrows in a day as well.
Okay.
So that basically they can do 2 edged weapons or 1 edged weapon and 10 arrows or a score of arrows in a day.
Okay.
And the normal cost for that, as he says, as he looks at the equipment list. Okay. The normal cost is okay. Normally it's 10 times the
Mhm.
cost of a non-silver weapon.
Okay.
However, you guys are specially special people, so you will get a discount. You've earned a reputation, so you guys will get it at 5 times normal cost. So in other words, if you have a dagger, which normally costs 3 gold, and you want him to turn it into a silver dagger, normally the cost is 30 gold to do that, but he will only charge you 15.
Okay. Would it be cheaper or just as effective, I guess, if you cut like a groove? You did like a groove down the middle of the blade and actually poured silver in it and then just left it at that without all the tempering and everything.
Well, if you start asking questions like that, you're liable to get him going on the whole theory of um, creating weapons and to get him embroiled in a long conversation. And he will tell you that, in fact, yes, in the case of some blades, that's exactly what they do. Blades that normally are so thin that it would be hard to uh, get a good surface to bond the silver with and then
Okay.
resharpen the edge. They would put a groove down the tang and or down the thickest center part of the blade. And I guess the tang is where you wrap the pommel around, but
Yeah.
um, uh, groove down the center of the blade and fill that in with silver, and then um, make sure that it's nice and flush with the blade so that
Yeah.
when you damage something, the silver is there. In other cases, they do actually, like for axes and things of that nature that are a little bit larger, thicker blades, they do actually bond the silver to the edge of the blade and then um, grind that silver down to be part of the cutting edge.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, let's look at the funds.
Okay, so what kinds of weapons are let me look at the arrows. We know we have arrows that we want to there's somewhere in here there's a ammunition table. That's where the ammunition table is. Do arrows okay. All right. So, normally, yeah. So for 20 arrows, he will do that for 25 gold.
Okay.
Now he can also do silver pellets for a sling or silver tipped bolts for a crossbow.
Okay.
There's, and then of course any handheld weapon, sword, axe, dagger, anything like that.
Okay.
Would be the charge to silver a great axe.
A great axe. Okay. That would be 35 gold. Normally it's 70, but for you guys 35.
Okay.
How much are the pellets? For the sling?
Yeah, the pellets normally for 30 of them, he can do he'll do 30 of them for 25 gold.
And the bolts for the small crossbow.
Yeah, he will do the tips of 20 bolts for 25 gold as well.
Sweet.
So we have a great axe we're getting done, some arrows. Have any swords or any daggers or anything we want done?
Yeah, I'll do one dagger if possible.
Dagger, okay, 15 gold for that.
Okay, so 15 gold, and then for the dagger, and then 15 you said for the arrowheads. I think, or was it 25?
25 for the arrowheads.
Okay. Okay.
How many arrows?
20.
Okay.
20 arrows and 20 bolts and 20 sling stones,
Okay.
all for
I'll hand over the
no
40 gold.
30 sling stones. The price for all of those is 25 each. So
Okay.
all right, so 40 gold from Mason.
For the great
And
axe at 35, 25 for 20
I got
bolts
95 gold.
would be 60, but I'm going to go ahead and give them 100 since they're taking on 3 jobs at once. That way they're
Hold
motivated.
on.
okay.
That's why I was trying to do all this math.
Okay,
I have
so
no idea what the number is, but I'm going to get it lower because I don't know what the number is.
we are bargaining here. Okay, are you bargaining for yourself or are you bargaining for the entire party?
We are all going to save the town, so I'm bargaining for the entire party.
Okay, so what was your initial total, Gooney? It was 40.
40.
And then,
15 for the dagger and 25 for 20 arrows.
okay, and then before Theolis was feeling generous, the actual total was 60. So that's 40 and 60. That's 100. And then what was
25 for 30
Amir?
pellets.
So 25. So that's 125. Now there is actually I should mention that they can put for, see, in this edition they don't even charge you for it because it's a stick, but for 5 gold, if Amira has a staff, for 5 gold he can put a silver tip on both ends of the staff. It's kind of a blunted thing, so it still does that. But if you whack an undead or something, or a lycanthrope or something with it, it will deal better damage.
My staff is made of glass. I don't think I want to be whacking people with it.
Okay, all right. That's right. That's the only staff you have. All right, I was forgetting that you didn't have another staff. Okay, so we're at 125 with a 6. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, what the 6 will do is the 6 will knock 10 gold off of everybody's cost. So
Okay.
the
So
25 becomes 15, the 40 becomes 30, the 60 becomes 50.
okay.
So 95 in total for everyone. If I'm
30
doing
for
my math
me.
right.
If you knock
Yep.
off 10 for each
Yeah,
person.
100. Right. Yeah. I figured it's easier just to do it by per person since everybody was sort of taking it out of their own funds. It's
Okay.
easier. But yes, the total is 95.
Well, I was going to go ahead and pay 100 because I don't think the smith got paid for making the crowns, or I'm not sure if he got the payment for the work he was doing for the
I
saddle.
haven't even gotten my crown yet. Where is my crown?
The crown is, you actually can now see the progress they're making on the crown. And the crown looks really, really nice.
Ding,
But
ding.
they have not found a sufficient quantity of the correct kind of burnished gold to put on all of the ornamentation, because this is a pretty fancy crown they're making. They are creating this crown. It's made to look, it kind of evokes a bit of the surroundings of this area. So there's parts of it that look kind of like branches, like trees, parts of it that look a little bit hilly and rocky, like mountains. And all of that work is done in a base metal of bronze. And then what they're doing is they're coating that with gold, but they're having to refine the gold and get it to a great deal of purity, because one of the things that those of you who are familiar with alchemy will know in this day and age is that a lot of times you get gold that's supposed to be pure gold, but yeah, a lot of places don't refine it that well, so there's still some impurities in it. So you got to kind of take the gold, melt it down, uh, get rid of all of the impurities, and people who work with metals know that different metals melt at different temperatures, and so you can kind of pour off the slag of some of the impurities. Or pour off the gold in the case if it melts at a lower temperature than the other stuff does, and then do that process several times and finally get it to where it's very, very, very pure gold, and it will hold a very, very nice shiny polish. They have all the fabric that they're using to create the sort of inner part of the crown, so that when it rests on your head, it's not bare metal digging into your scalp. It's got the nice little ploofy velvet and the sort of silky underside and the padding and whatnot. And this is going to be a nice looking crown, but they're taking their time working on it because they are craftsmen that want it to look great. And as for the saddle, we said, Travis, last week we said that when Tomas got called away, he left money with the party to pay for the saddle. So we're just presuming that that's being paid for out of Tomas's share of the treasure.
Gotcha.
And we're probably also going to have to figure out which one of the goblins can be trained as a wolf rider.
Mason's not interested in being a wolf rider.
Mason's a human, so too big.
Oh.
I'm a human. I'm a short human, but I'm a human.
You were a halfling. I'm sorry. I apologize. My bad.
No, I'd be a halfling if I could, but I'm a human.
Yeah, and this edition of D&D, they hadn't decided, hey, wait a minute. Maybe we should make classes separate from races and allow other races to have actual class names. All right. So, celebration is a big success.
Come on.
All right. We're gonna get a copyright infringement on us.
Oh, actually can't if it's actually being performed and sung, and you're not making money off of it.
This is the acapella version where none of us know how to sing the song properly because we haven't heard it in years.
Okay, well then we're gonna get the cast of Glee coming after us. Hey, you can't do
Right.
that. We do that.
Did you guys?
Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Damn it.
I know, really.
Damn it.
They take all your fun away. You can't. Do
I know.
anything these days.
How dare they?
All right. So, from the menu of choices that we have, to look into the Old Owl Well, to look into the Banshee, or to deal with go and talk to the Druid, what do we feel like we want to do first, or do we want to do them in a certain order, or do we just want to set out and see which one we come to first?
We could roll a dice.
One question: did we deal with Grista yet, or is that kind of up in the air? The dwarf in charge of the Sleeping Giant Inn, because I got an idea to run by Amira.
Oh well, this would be great to go ahead and probably run past her at this point. Then.
Okay. Well, I was thinking
a bone to pick with her.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Well,
He
right.
was thinking
Well, wait. Right. But here's what I'm thinking. Now that we have bugbears and goblins that are coming near a city, and they should be welcomed because they help us fight, they might not really fit in at the Stonehill Inn, so we can make an arrangement with Grista to serve our non-human compatriots for keeps her in business, but she would pay you a certain divvy off the top for allowing her to remain in business after she infringed upon you, your highness.
It's a way nicer than I was going to do to her. I'm very vengeful, apparently.
Right. Well, if you take her completely out of the picture, then who are you going to put in charge of the establishment?
I think it's really up to Mason. Like, we just aggravated her, but he had Mason thrown into a cage.
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
that Grista was behind that.
Yeah. She didn't apparently like the look of my face. Something like that.
They didn't like us either.
Hmm.
We did put bodies on her floor, though.
So that was
Just
you
trying to
guys, not me.
cover charge. That was, they wanted a cover charge of 5 knuckles. I was trying to pay.
And we did pay.
Mm.
So if that
Well,
was
let's see
out
here.
in the
What would I
open,
like
I
to
was seeing
do
if
to
we'd
her?
resolved it.
Well, I could always use a business and then make her run it instead of own it. Oh wait, nope, she'd be pissed off and then she'd like run it into the ground. Never mind.
She's going to be focused on the financial aspect. She can't part
Well, she
with
has to make a living
anything.
somehow.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she should go spend some time in the enclosure somewhere chained up for a couple of days and see how she likes it.
Revenge. I like it. I
Oh
get to see my slime.
Yep. I think that would be a good one. She needs to learn her lesson. Yep. Don't fuck with the thief.
So we need to go by and talk to
Excuse my
Grista.
English.
Talking
Yeah.
quotation.
Yeah. Talking quotations.
Right?
Yep.
Aggressive negotiations.
Fine knuckle
All
discount.
right.
All right. Okay. So we know we're gonna go have a meeting of the fists. I mean,
Lovely conversation.
a lovely conversation with the tavern owner, the inn owner, whatever you want to call her.
Okay.
And while we're waiting for the armorer to finish our stuff.
Okay. Oops. That's what I needed to do. Oh, come on. All right. And then meanwhile, you have your I should say Amy's body servant, Mustard, is headed off to Corel. And in Corel, he is going to be looking for a potential of a spell of control plants that is also apparently good for use with non-intelligent creatures such as slime. What a
Bless you.
bother. Sorry.
Gesundheit.
Didn't get to the sneeze button quickly enough on that one. All right. So we want to go and talk with Grista.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead over to the sleeping giant, which is right over here. And you all come trundling up. And at this point, when you are walking, as people start realizing you're heading over towards the sleeping giant, there's a lot of townsfolk. And a lot of the townsfolk apparently don't really like Grista very much.
Yeah.
And so they
Wonder
are you can hear whispers among them. Oh, I wonder if they're going to beat her up. This will be fun to watch. We should watch. Maybe maybe they're gonna dip her in tar, set her on fire. Oh, that would be fun. And
Dang,
you
we
know,
sound evil.
and
Damn.
well,
Damn.
these townsfolk, they're simple folk. They uh, they don't like this Grista very much at all. And so they start following you as you head over.
I kind of look over
And
my shoulder and then I look back at Amy and go, "Do we want a crowd for this?" Because apparently we're collecting a crowd.
It depends.
And
How badly do you think you're gonna fight her?
how badly? I don't even know if it'll get to that point, but I'd like to say it
Probably
would. But
won't. Because last time she ran, she didn't even fight us.
That's true.
But now she doesn't have
Yeah.
backup.
yeah, now she doesn't have any backup.
Yeah.
But we don't have any tar.
Well, it doesn't mean we have to tar her. We can just roll her in the mud and rub horse dung in her hair or something. Make her eat it or something. I don't know.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Or throw
just
her
carry it
into
and stick her.
the horse stall or the horse barn manure pile.
Oh, there you go.
Scenes again of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I hate horse manure.
Horse manure, put a stick with a carrot on it, and put her on the back of a donkey and let her head out of town. And she keeps going until she.
No, that's another
till
thing we
the
can do.
donkey gets the carrot.
Mm-hmm. If ever. Yeah, I think we can come up with something.
Okay.
Very creative.
So now you guys are standing in front of the sleeping giant, and there's a crowd of maybe between a dozen and 20 townsfolk, and they're like, "Grista, get your hairy chin out here. You got some explaining to do, Grista." Some of the townsfolk are shouting.
Mason will hold up his hands. Is like, hey. This is between me and her, not you.
I think we have an angry mob on our.
We'll make sure she gets some retribution. You guys get your retribution, but I ain't gonna be sitting here doing this with you guys all hanging around, making it worse. So you can
then
watch.
One of
I'll
the
hold the door and let you two go in.
one of the leaders says, "Hey, everybody," and starts, putting his hands, waving his hands for them to sort of quiet down. And he says, "All right, this is a job for professional adventurers. I know we all have been upset because Krista's just done some things that most of us don't agree with. So we just have to let the adventurers take care of things." And they're like, "Oh, really? Do we?" And I say, "Yes, you do." Okay.
Well, that way you
And-
guys
and
can continue to live here without any severe retribution. If she were to come back, she'd be looking to get even with us, not you.
they kind of talk amongst each other and they go, "Oh yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Yeah, she's a dwarf. She might be able to put some curses on us or something."
Mason's like, what?
What do dwarves do? You damn fool! They don't put curses on people. They just go mine for gold. Well, maybe she'd keep all the gold for herself if she did. Yes, so we don't want her being angry at us. Let her be angry at them. Oh, okay, all right. So they can't get her gold, but we can. And I was like, oh God, so they start bickering over that.
Meantime, I just walk off and ignore them, and I
Okay.
walk inside.
And there's a door, kind of as you walk in, there's a door off to the side, and you can tell that it's open a little bit, and you catch sight of somebody peeking out, and then the door closes real quick, and you hear like a chair or something being scraped over to put up against the door.
So about this point in time, who all came in with me?
Travis was holding the door for you and Amy. So apparently, if Amy is following you in, or if you are following Amy in, both of you
I'm
can
going
go
around
in.
back. This is all
Okay.
Mason because I want to make sure she can't run like the last.
Well, actually, Mason was going to ask you to distract her from the front while he walks around to the back and pretty much enters the window, if there is one.
Okay.
You want to switch places?
Yeah. Okay. So.
Okay, I'm going inside.
Okay. So.
That way you can distract her.
Then, Amy, you see the cracked door, and it closes, and you hear something scraping along the floor, being pushed up against the door. And Mason, you go around, and
it's after that I go around, because it was kind of like, oh, she's gonna play that game, huh?
Okay.
But wait, if you're a customer, I'm here with my money too.
You go around, and there is a dirty window that
would line up with the
would line up with where you guys saw her. And there's a actually these are windows that have shutters on them. So there's a window that has one shutter closed, the other open, and some curtains hanging down in the open
what kind of curtains?
Side of the window.
Lace or?
No, they're heavy, kind of poor quality. It's sort of the stuff that burlap is made out of, but it's a thicker material, and
there's no gaps or anything
not
for
as
me
coarse,
to be able
right?
to look
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Okay.
But as you get around there, you see that this curtain gets flipped to the side, and a dwarf hand latches onto the windowsill, as if a dwarf is about to try to climb up and crawl out of the window.
Yeah. So I will just quietly wait and bide my time, and basically try to take up a hiding spot, kind of where I can be right there, but yet if she does a quick look out the window, she won't see me.
Okay.
I hope.
Well, when one hand goes up, the next thing, there's sort of a leather sack that gets pushed out and poof, falls on the ground. The top of the sack is all tied up and everything. And then following that, there is a dwarf head that has only a light mustache and beard, identifying it as probably a female dwarf.
Okay.
That pokes out the window and indeed looks either way. Go ahead and give me a dex check.
Okay.
To see how well you're stealthing. Okay. Yeah. You're kind of hidden in a place that's not easily seen, and she's just sort of quickly looking. She's not doing a thorough examination.
Okay.
So she pulls herself, or kind of wriggles out of the window.
She's about halfway out the window, and she's getting to that point where she's hit the. Now, is she coming out head first or feet first?
And she's coming out head first.
Okay, so when she, you know how you have that point in the body, that the balance where once
Yeah.
she's committed to halfway out to where all of her weight's going to fall out the window, that's
Yep.
when I want to basically like pop up out of nowhere and basically grab her and toss her to the ground.
Okay. Make me. We're gonna call this unarmed, but make me a melee attack roll just to be sure that you
Okay.
grab her armor class.
Melee attack. Where am I?
Hey, whatever weapon you have, and we'll just ignore if it says any damage.
Okay,
Because you're not trying to damage her, you're just trying to grab her.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see here. That would probably be dagger. All right.
Oh yeah, yeah. You with an AC3, you actually get a good grip on her, and she's like, "Rah, rah,
Grab her by
let
the
go!"
hair and pull her down onto the ground, and then basically try to make sure that she's on their front, and then straddle her back.
Unhand me! Unhand me! Unhand me! Rah,
Oh,
rah.
you want me to unhand you? Okay, well that means I get to cut your hands off.
No, 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 no! Stop!
Oh,
Let me
nope.
go! Let me
Nope.
go! Let me
Well,
go!
about that point in time, I will pull out a dagger and put it right to her throat and say, "It would best be to your advantage to shut up. I can always silence you by cutting your throat, but then where's the fun in that? And there's no chance for you to survive this."
Okay. Okay. And meanwhile, all the rest of you have heard this racket because she's screaming. And Theolis, when you start hearing that, the whole group of people assembled, they start running around the side of the building to see what's going on. And Mason, you quickly become aware in your peripheral vision of a bunch of townsfolk coming. And when they see that you have Grista down on the ground, her face sort of in the dirt, they're like, "Yeah, yeah!"
And I
a
look
bunch
at him
of-
and go, "Hey, what do we talk about? Go away.
Mhm.
Oh,
This
okay.
is mine, not yours. Mine.
Okay. Well,
You
Grista,
get just you go away. We'll take care of this."
and, and one of them, kind of an older woman. She just sort of puts one hand on her hip and points a finger and wags it at Grista and says, "You're a bad person, and your friends are bad, and you should feel bad about yourself." And pa! And she just sort of spits on the dirt next to her feet, and then she puts her head up, and she just sort of marches back off.
Kind of like,
towards-
poof.
Yes.
All right. So at that point in time, I pull out or try to find something I can tie her hands off with.
Sure,
And
if you have rope or twine or anything.
yeah.
Let me quickly go inside. Amira, you're hearing all this racket. You've seen the people. Are you going to wander outside, or what do you want to do? Because you're apparently inside the sleeping giant all by yourself now. Maybe Travis is standing at the door, or Theolis is standing at the door.
As I
Still
went,
shushing away the town.
I've always said, if you hear an angry person yelling in a fight, mind your business. I'm gonna make myself some tea.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so yeah, the Grista is there. Who are you? What do you want?
Oh, you said at one time that you didn't like the look of me, and you sicked the guard on me and had me put away. They knocked me out. When all I wanted was to have a meal, sit down, possibly have a night's sleep, and then be on my way. So, since it's obvious that I've managed to survive that, I thought I would come back and have a little discussion with you about your customer service, which is very poor at this point in time. Not well liked. Not at all. And so Mason will basically bind her hands together with some cord or rope that he's got. And then once he's got her tied in a way that if she tries to undo her hands, it'll choke her.
Okay. And as you're tying her up, she starts to cackle a little bit, and she says, "Oh, I have powerful friends. You're
Nah,
not
not anymore. If you're talking about Glassstaff, he came to a very bad end. Something about a slime. He got nommed on by a slime. So, yeah, you don't have powerful friends anymore. Sorry. We got rid of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can't have gotten rid of all of them. There's far too many of them."
Oh, really? Well, do tell. Maybe I might let you go.
Oh, well, if you know it's good for you, you urchin, you'd better let me
Chin,
go.
how old are you, bitch? Excuse my English. Sorry. I keep forgetting we're live.
I'm. You nasty human. I have.
Yeah.
I
About the time
have.
he gets up and he pulls her to her feet, and then he goes over, he's still trying to hang on to her hands, and he goes over to her sack and looks for something, rifles
Oh,
around.
that's mine. That's mine. You thief.
Does she have any socks in her bag?
Oh, if you untie the bag, yeah, she's got some thick woolen socks that they are well used. They've been darned several times, and
Okay.
the pads of the feet are kind of dirty and everything.
Oh, goody. So he's going to basically shove the he's going to go ahead and pull out one of the socks while she's and shove it in her mouth. Yep. And then he's going to take another piece of rope and tie it so that it's stuck in her mouth. And then I'll lead her around to the front. And if I see one of the townspeople, I'll say, "Hey, do you guys have any old nag, or do you have a nag or something, or a donkey I could buy? And do you guys have anything like jester hats or big face masks or something like that? Something that we could make up and look real funny? Maybe some face paint? You got something like
Yeah.
that?"
And a couple of them look at each other and say, yeah. And one of them says, "Yeah, I have an old nag. I could sell it to you for 2 gold."
Oh, yep. I'll take it. And a carrot. If you got a carrot, I'll take the nag and the carrot for 2 gold.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll give you a couple of carrots for that.
And then I'll
so,
look at someone else and go, "Do you have any theatrical something theatrical that I can use to put on her head?"
Oh well, Mistress Stonehill, she might have something like that.
Okay. Why don't you go ask her if she's got like a big face mask or a big paper mache thing that people put over their head for the
Oh, okay. Yeah,
for like a
sometimes.
festival or a theater or
Yes,
something. And
yes, for
I'll pay her
festivals.
good money for it.
Okay. And so they send a kid tearing off down towards the stone hill, and Grista is like, her eyes are just sort of darting around and looking around as much as she can. She's turning her head, but of course, every time she turns her head, it kind of hurts her a little bit with the way you have her bound, and she's just sort of, and she realizes that, you know, the more she looks around, the more she realizes she's not seeing anybody that she recognizes in the red cloaks. And so after a minute, she starts to, she starts to kind of hunch in a little bit, and her murmurings grow quieter, and she's kind of getting a little, and now she's kind of looking at you a little suspiciously, like, okay, I don't know what's going on here, but she clearly realizes this is not what she had expected.
So yeah, the I'll kind of wait for things to arrive, and meanwhile he's just grinning at her like, yeah, I don't see anything familiar anymore, do ya? You were apparently their little spy, weren't you? Yeah, maybe, yes. Yep. So, you've made a bad name for yourself, even if I were to let you go. I don't think you'd last very long in this town. Really, I don't. But that being said, never let it be said that I am not a fair individual. I'll at least let you keep your life. And we'll go from there. And so I go sit her down on the ground or something like that.
Okay. Around the front of the inn or still on the side or something like that. If you get anywhere near the door, you'll start to eventually hear the whistle of a tea kettle inside.
I will stick my head in and go, "Hey, Travis."
Theolis.
Oh, Theolis, sorry. Travis is your real name. Theolis.
Yes.
Hey. Could use
Oh,
your help. Just for a little something here, just to help me make sure I get her up and in the saddle where I'm going to need her.
problem. Go ahead and saunter on outside and see this little tied and gagged dwarf and pick her up by the scruff of the collar and hold her in the air for her.
Well,
Now what would you
now-
like?
well, let's just wait till the old nag gets here. I bought me an
No
old
problem.
nag.
Oh, great. We're going to play pinata?
Maybe.
So now that you're a business owner, what will you rename your new establishment?
Oh, I'm not a business owner yet. We'll just have to wait for a while to make sure that the former owner doesn't come back and try to reclaim what they lost. And she gives a pointed look at the dwarf.
We could always throw her down a well.
Oh, no. No, I have something much better than that. Much better in mind.
Sun with fire ants and honey?
And
I'm not so much into the quick and horrible pain. I'm more into the slow.
All right. So in a few minutes, a couple of people come back. A person comes back leading this horrible looking old nag. I mean, it's a horse that actually doesn't look like it's been mistreated, but it's just
It's on
It's
its
a horse
last
where
leg. It's really old.
one eye you can tell is kind of milky with a cataract, and it's got a brown coat, but it's got little bits of like sort of gray in its mane and its coat. And it's showing the signs, for those that know horses, it's showing the signs of being a very old horse. And but they've brought it, and it's got it's been saddled, has a saddle blanket on it, and it's got the saddle on it, the bit and the bridle, and it's just sort of plodding along at a walking pace, and the person has an apple that they're feeding it as they're bringing it up, and so it kind of plods up, and then the kid is running back, and he is being accompanied by a teenage girl that you recognize as one of the serving maids at the Stonehill Inn, and she's got something wrapped in cloth that is about the size of a serving platter that she's carrying with her. And the kid has this big grin on his face. And as he gets close enough, he says, "You're never going to guess what we found. You're never going to guess what we found. You're never going to guess what we found."
Oh. Well, please do tell. Or show me.
And the girl runs up, and she pulls the blanket off, and what you see is a pasteboard face, and the face is about 2 or 3 times the size of a normal human face, and it's mostly white, and it's got painted red cheeks and a painted red nose, and it's got blue over one eye, and it's got black over the other eye, and it's got this grotesque looking grin where it's big purple lips and that are peeled back to reveal spiky white teeth, and the kid says, "It's a troll mask from Harvesttide. It's a troll mask from Harvesttide."
Oh, very good. You guys were awesome.
Yeah, this is the one that Master Stonehill usually wears when we're doing Harvesttide, and Mrs. Stonehill said she's making a new one for this year, so she doesn't need this one anymore. And the girl says, "You see here," and she holds up the back of it for you to see, and there's a couple of like belts that are affixed into it, and sort of like a little hood or harness that can be set over the head, and then the belts go around the neck and the back of the head to hold it in the right position.
Gotcha.
So that it stays, and it's just kind of worn there. And in the just on either side of the bridge of the nose, there's 2 little holes where somebody's eyes can look through it, and
Gotcha.
there's a little cutout. The nostrils are cut out so that air can get through, so that somebody could breathe, and then if they talk, their voice comes through that little area there.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, he will basically look over at Theolis and go, "Why don't you get her up on that saddle, and we'll get her comfortable. Make sure you put her backwards." And say what?
I said, will do.
And then I take the mask and I give the two kids, or the serving girl and the little boy, a couple of coppers each, and then give 2 silver and say, okay, make sure this goes back to the mistress that gave us this, because want to make sure she's reimbursed for her supplies.
Okay. And the serving maid bobs a curtsy, and then looks at Grista and sticks out her tongue at Grista, and then they turn and they run back off towards the Stonehill Inn.
Gotcha. So basically, have Theolis put her up on the saddle,
Okay.
tie her legs basically around the body of the horse, which
Okay.
probably is going to be uncomfortable since she's a dwarf.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that, of course, her hands and arms are bound together. But just before her mask is put on, I will at least cut the string that's holding the sock in.
Okay.
But I'll still just leave the sock in, and of course the mask will probably hold it partway in. So
Yeah.
and then, but at some point in time, she could probably get it loose. But
Yeah.
so then I'll go find a stick. I'll feed the horse a carrot. I'll put a carrot on a string on the front of the stick, attach the stick to the saddle,
Mm-hmm.
and then just wait for everybody in the town to either show up to watch her backwards trot of shame out of the village, or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, they will start to appear in between buildings and coming back.
I'll
word kind of filters from
which direction is
Stonehill
the
Inn.
worst way out of here? Like the most dangerous?
Well, that's a bit of a interesting question. If you send her to the north, that is the direction that you all are going, and that is the direction that goes to danger. If you send her to the south, that is the direction that would send her back towards the be probably a couple of days at the rate that this horse would walk, if the horse survives that long, back towards the city of Carell.
Okay.
But yeah, you.
What about this forest area over here on the map?
Oh, there's not really a road or a trail that goes that way, I don't think.
I mean, well, how dense is it? Can a horse go through it?
Oh, a horse could go through it, but it's kind of just going to go into sort of wilderness, and there's mountains back over there to the east that it would eventually get into the mountains. And there's rumors of all kinds of things in the mountains, griffins and wyverns, and
Okay.
maybe a dragon or such like that. So the part of the question is, how much danger do you want to put the horse in? How
Well, the
much
horse is
danger do you?
probably going to drop dead soon.
It's a
So,
very
Okay.
nice horse, a very sweet horse. It likes
yes.
carrots.
However, it's not going to stop until either dark, or that's why I paid the guy 2 gold for it.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I mean, you could send it to the east and even send it sort of around either Tresendar Manor or around the woods.
Anybody got
to the
speak to
south.
animals or anything?
No,
Nope.
you guys don't have any druids, and the there are a few townspeople that you notice are absent. 2 of them are Master Stonehill himself, and another one is Sister Goril. And then the um, retired adventurer over by the orchard. He doesn't come around, and a few other people they come around. They kind of maybe poke their head in and look, and some of them stay. A lot of them
Mm-hmm.
they look for a few minutes and then they head back, kind of like shaking their head. And we told her she keeps messing around. That's what's going to
Okay.
happen.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and basically let everybody get one good last look of her. And then I'm basically going to kind of walk the horse around in different angles, so that way she can't keep a clue of where she's going, because I will also stuff the eye holes with something that will at least block her sight.
Okay.
And then we'll basically, that way she's disoriented and can't tell which direction she's going once I let the horse go.
Okay. If you're looking for stuff to put in the eye holes, um, as Travis is helping to get her mounted, um, uh, there's this moment where sort of you sort of see the hocks of the horse kind of tense and quiver, and then its tail raises up a little bit, and then there's a
Oh,
big
perfect.
sort of
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along the same line. So yeah, before that happens, pick up a, as my dad calls them, horse duver. sticks, sticks sticks them in the eyes, and then actually make sure it pokes a little bit extra so it falls down in front of her face. And then basically lead them around and get her confused, and then basically I'll walk the horse out
Okay.
to
And
the forest and then turn the horse loose.
okay, of course, when you do the thing with the manure, a lot of the kids they ha 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 ha. They're pointing at her and they're laughing. They think that's hilarious, and so um, then as you lead her, there's this group of maybe 5 or 6 kids um,
Mm-hmm.
that trail along after you, and they sort of start spontaneously sing this song that naughty old dwarf, you've been bad, now you're gonna leave and you're never coming back. Ah, ha, 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 ha. And
So
they're
once I'm out of town and the kids are kind of following, or I'm the outskirts of town and the kids are following, I will see if I can find one that's kind of older, looks like maybe a little more responsible.
okay.
And once I stop the horse out of the city limits, I will basically take that kid aside and basically hand him a gold piece and say, and whisper to him, I want you to lead the horse into the forest as far as it can go, or as far as you feel comfortable, and then turn it loose and just let it go. Okay? And then come back. You can do that for
Oh,
me?
make me. What are your skills? Do you have persuasion at all?
I do, I believe. Why, yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, make me a persuasion check. Because you're asking a kid to do something. Oh, yeah. Okay, you've paid the kid, and you were really convincing, and he's like, okay,
Want to
I'll
make
do
sure it
that.
gets a good head start, and excuse me, Mason's kind of pulled this kid a little bit to the side while the other kids are, yakking and making fun of, basically letting the noise cover up what she's telling him,
Mm-hmm.
and then says, come back here, you know, make sure that you come back here before dark, okay? But just take the horse as far as you think is safe, and that maybe it clears up underneath the trees a little bit so that the horse can just keep going. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And then I
And
will I will call the other kids to me and say, just stay with me. You don't want to go there.
They
So they don't
and
follow him into the forest.
yeah, and they look and they say, "Oh, you're gonna let
Well,
him kill it. You're gonna let him kill her. We don't get to kill her too."
no, she's not going to be killed. I'm not going to let anybody from the town kill her. And Mason will whisper one last instruction to the kid and basically just say, don't talk to her. Don't say anything to her. Just lead the horse and then come
He
back.
and he nods to you, and he
And don't
draws
listen to
his.
anything. If she's able to talk, don't listen to anything she says. And there'll be another gold for you when you get back.
His eyes light up, and he nods, and then he does that thing where he pulls his hand across his mouth like he's zipping his mouth shut.
And I give him a thumbs up and say, and kind of wave like, off you go. And then I encourage the kids to continue to sing their little song.
Okay, they continue singing, and the kid goes off, and just because of the way this map is made, you can't see much about how that forest goes. It goes maybe a mile, and then it kind of opens up, and there's sort of game trails and things like that.
I'll
There's
let
a
the
little.
kid, since this is an area the kid probably is familiar with, I'll let the kid decide where to take her.
Okay, yeah. So just sort of peeling behind the curtain a little bit. He leads the horse off about a mile. There's a little creek that sort of is the boundary of that wood on the far side, on the eastern side, and then it opens up into more starting to get rolling foothills area towards the mountains, and there's more patches of forest on over there. But there's a place where the stream is real shallow, and it's kind of a place that game naturally cross that body of running water. So he leads the horse off there, and then he gets it on the other side, and then he um, takes the flat of his hand and he just slaps the horse on the rump, and the horse spooks and sort of trots off. And then he comes back, and that because he's going through woods, it maybe takes an hour to get over there, and then an hour to come back.
That's fine. I just want to make sure that the horse was pointed in the rough general direction of where we wanted it to go, and not just leave it to complete chance.
Yep. So
okay. Anyway,
it heads off, and kid comes back, and let's see.
I forgot. Amy, were you paying for everybody to have their stuff silvered, or were you just
I think everybody was
negotiating?
So yeah, I think she was negotiating.
I have no idea who was paying. I thought Travis was, because they just had like 100 gold out.
Well, I don't know whether Travis intended to pay. I was thinking everybody was paying for themselves out of their own.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure so that I could account for things properly, because now I'm down an extra 4 gold, which is fine.
Okay. The kid comes back, and he you learn from talking to some of the other kids that this one that went off with the horse, his name is Pabble.
Pabble or Pebble?
Led the horse off is named Pabble. Pabol.
Okay.
Yes, and Amy, you find all of the stuff that you could want for your tea. You have, whether you take it straight or take it with cream and sugar or take it with sugar and some sort of citrus, you find that the sugar is not quite to the quality that the sugar at the Stonehill Inn is. It's
Mhm.
not as pure, a little bit lumpy.
Oh, by the way,
The
I also will have told Theolis when we're getting ready to leave that her bag is out back. You might want to grab that and take a look at what's inside.
okay, and the citrus is a little wrinkly and dry, but or not as juicy as you would like it to be, but it's not bad. And surprisingly enough, she actually does have uh, a place that she's able to find to keep the milk cool enough that it doesn't spoil. So the milk is rather fresh, and so however you want to fix your tea, and there's enough tea that you can make an entire pot if you want to, or if you're just making a glass for yourself, that's fine too. And when you all get back to the sleeping giant, you will see that Amira is happily enjoying her cup of tea either on the stoop or inside at one of the tables.
And I will basically bow to her and go, and what would you like to do with this tavern, Your Excellency?
Put the dwarf's bag in the middle of the table.
Okay. The bag. Let me take a look and see what is in this bag. What's in the bag? What's in the bag?
It's in the bag.
All right. Treasure. Okay. Let's take a look at this. All right. So we're not gonna get any of this. Okay. I like that. I like that. All right, so I need to make some rolls. One, two, three, four. Okay, so no, yes.
No,
No,
yes. No, yes. Great.
Yeah. Yes and yes. No. Okay. The main weight of this bundle appears to be coins. There's a lot of clothes. There's some mostly worn out boots. There's a dull and fairly poor quality dagger that is bundled up inside like a pair of leather breeches that is in here, and it's leather breeches that they're kind of functional leather breeches, like they're meant for rugged rugged wear outdoors. Not any kind of crazy stuff. So the okay, so 1d4, 2d6, 1d2. So there's okay, 1d4. In that you find 400 electrum pieces.
Holy crap.
Would
And
someone like to elaborate what those are?
Electrum is worth half of a gold. It's a mixture, an alloy that's a mixture of silver and gold, 50% silver, 50% gold. So it's worth
So 200 gold.
half a gold, yes.
We said
Then
400.
yep, the 400 electrum. There are okay. There's actually 800 gold pieces. And let's see. There's okay, so there's also 100 platinum pieces. So we have in Grista's sack are 400 EP, 800 GP, 100 PP. And this one, the platinum is worth 5 gold. So it's 500 gold worth of platinum. It's 800 gold worth of gold and 200 gold worth of electrum. What else did we have in here? Yep. Not nope. And the rest of it. All right. So yeah, that's what she has. And you're looking at the state of this sleeping giant. It's like, if she had this much money, she wouldn't be running a place that looked this ratty. All of this can't be hers.
Yeah.
Maybe she was kind of like you start to get the impression that she might have been something like a banker or a place where this glass staff stashed some of his treasure with her. And perhaps she was trying to take it to somebody. Thought she would get away and be able to get to somebody and take that treasure to them. So, and you guys have no way of knowing how much of this might have been stuff that was grifted from the townsfolk.
Yeah.
But probably a fair bit of it was. But it's up to you guys what you want to do with it.
Well, it's
Treasure?
not
What
like
treasure?
that.
No, we didn't find any
We
treasure.
didn't find any treasure. No. Okay.
Or in an odd turn of events, you guys. Well, no, I don't want to put any ideas in Amira's head.
No, do it.
Do it.
Okay, all right. So a weird thing is you might give that as a sort of reconstruction fund, or at least part of that, give it as a reconstruction fund to Clark and the goblins, and then have the odd turnabout where the goblins are running into town and trying to buy stuff to help fix up Trisindar Manor. So the townsfolk are getting some of their embezzled and stolen money back by the goblins buying stuff with it.
Yep.
So anyway.
Okay.
Hey, guess what? We've consumed about half of our time in dealing with Grista. So let's go ahead and take our break. I have 10 after the hour, so let's go ahead and come back at 20 after. We will then figure out which of these places that we want to go to first. And I've got a map I can show you, and I have because I had forgotten that I had renamed a couple of these towns, so we'll just retcon some of the names when we get back. But I'm going to go ahead, put the music on, and put myself on mute. Be back in a few minutes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh no, she turned into a goblin.
All right, everybody. Okay, Gooney, you're back. I hear.
Yeah. I
Saw
I
the
was heading back
discard.
towards my computer, and all of a sudden I noticed that it went blank, and I went, "What?"
Uh-oh.
And then realized, "Oh crap, it's not on." Oh man, I kicked that stupid electrical cord.
Yeah, I a few months ago I got partway into the Sunday session.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going along and I was doing something and suddenly the little thing came up on the thing that says low battery warning.
And you're like,
I'm
"What?"
like, low battery warning. And I look at the side of the computer and there's no power cord plugged into it. And I go, oh crap. When I moved it from my room where I had been doing some prep work in the morning
Yeah.
into the office, I hadn't brought the power cord with me. So I said, oh, everybody, hold on. I need a break. So I had to run in there and grab the power cord and come and plug it in before the battery died.
Or your battery died. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I hate it when it does that, but such is the life of living with technology.
yes. Oh, righty then. And the Empress gave me a good idea. It is probably one of. Can you count it on both hands? Maybe both hands and all of your toes. One of less than 20 days in the entire calendar when it gets really cool enough in the evening that it's nice to have a sweatshirt on and get some hot tea for something other than just simple
Oh,
relaxation
yes.
here in the Orlando area. It is supposed to
Love
the
living in
high
Nebraska.
the
Oh.
high today was 54, I think, and overnight it's supposed to get into the 30s. So
Oh,
which
poor
is
thing.
cold for us. It's hey, I lived in the suburbs of Minneapolis, so I know what real cold
I
is.
know. I'm giving you crap.
But yeah,
Yeah, you guys
but,
got it colder up there than we did, so.
oh
we
yeah,
get it.
yeah. I used to tell. I grew up in Florida and lived there for a number of years, and then moved back when my parents' health started failing. But the I always told my friends that the thing about Minnesota is you'll probably get the first snow sometimes in September, definitely by the middle of October. And the stuff that falls after October 15th never melts until after April 15th. It just it just stays
Yeah,
cold and stays
yeah.
frozen the whole time. And they're like, "Oh my gosh."
No, thank
Yeah.
Say what?
So,
Somebody was talking.
I just said no, thank you.
Yeah. Well, of course,
yeah.
I live
Too much no.
in Nebraska where the wind never really stops blowing, and if
Right,
it
right.
does, everybody falls over.
Yeah.
Because the joke is Wyoming blows and Iowa sucks.
Nah.
And
Hmm.
I was born and raised in Iowa, and I love Wyoming, so I feel comfortable saying that because I can.
Mhm. All right. And we're stuck in the middle of all the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you guys have a preference then? Now that we've dealt with. Oh, well, I don't know if we need to disposition tonight or if we want to do that in another session. Exactly what's going to become of the future of the building formerly known as the Sleeping Giant. We can take some time to do that now if you want to, or we can table that for now and come back to it at a later session.
We could
and deal
probably
with
do
it
it
then.
now, just because
Okay.
we're gonna have to deal with this and figure out. So we're gonna know: are we coming back, or are we just, done with it?
Well, it's certainly as you look around, it's the Stonehill Inn is the larger and nicer inn in town. This is definitely a fixer-upper, but it's got a suite of rooms behind the kitchen area that is kind of like the um, innkeeper's suite, if you will. And so there's a bedroom and a modest little sitting room area, and there's it's like an enlarged closet with a flagstone floor where there is one single copper tub. And there's a chimney that kind of backs up to the kitchen chimney here with a smaller hearth that can be used to heat up water and everything to pour into a cauldron in that bath area. Then you go in the common room. There's I don't know, maybe as many as a dozen. No, there's not that many. There's probably 4 of those sort of big trestle like picnic style tables where you could fit 3 or 4 people on each bench. And then there's about 4 round top tables. 3 of them look like they're meant for maybe at most 4 people. One of them is a little bit larger. It might hold 6 or 8 people. Then there's some stairs going up, and there's a little platform at one end where, if you had a musician or a speaker or a performer of some kind, they could be up there. Upstairs, there's a single hallway, and there are 6 guest rooms off of that hallway. Each one, actually, no, there's 5 guest rooms, not 6. So there's 2 doors on either side and 1 door at the end of the hall. The door at the end of the hall opens into a room that takes up the entire width of the upstairs. From side to side, has windows on 3 sides, and then that area, that wall that has the door in it going back into the hallway. There are cots in here, and there's some open space, and there's a bunch of things that look like bedrolls rolled up against the walls. This is clearly like the people that would pay for like dormitory style accommodations. So
Gotcha.
probably the 1 or 2 copper a night where, okay, if there's a cot available, you crash in a cot. If not, just grab a bedroll and you sleep on the floor.
Yep.
Then the other 4 rooms, they each have either 1 or 2 beds in them. The ones as you're going down the hall on the right-hand side have 1 bed in each one. Little bit of a larger bed, and a little table and a little wash basin and a wardrobe. Then on the left-hand side, you open them up. There's 2 beds in each one. One slightly smaller bed on either side of the room. A single little table in between the 2 beds, and instead of a wardrobe, there's kind of like a shelving that's been built out from the walls, a horizontal shelf at the top with a rod strung across between two vertical boards, and there's on that rod there are some things to hang clothes and stuff, and then just in that shell of those two boards down on the ground there's sort of a place where you could put bags and stuff like that. There you can't close it because there's no doors on it. So it's like
Gotcha.
they've just put together a space where people can hang stuff up, and you see that on either side of those rooms. So, if you wanted to continue running it as an inn, um, 4 people could sleep in those double. 2 people could sleep in the single rooms. So, or if you have a married couple or something like that, you could have 2 people in there. Then, however many could fit in the sort of dormitory style room. But if you didn't want to keep it as an inn and you wanted to keep it as a sort of an HQ for the party, there's definitely accommodations there for the party or for any of the party's allies, perhaps some of the hirelings or things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to do that, there's stuff there. And structurally, the building seems to be in pretty good repair. It looks like, if anything, either Grista or the glass staff, I'm sorry, put some of the red brands to work, keeping, keeping things up. You can tell where there's been some recent work to replace some boards that might have been either broken or rotted or something like that, and the workmanship is good quality. Structurally, it's a sound place. Of course, it's all built of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like maybe 2 or 3 courses of flagstones at the bottom, that the rest of the wood structure is built on. But it's, the first story is mainly wood as well as the second story.
Gotcha.
So
So I'll look over at Amy and go, "Oh, what do you want to do with it?"
Does anybody want to go?
Just to verify, there is another inn here.
Yeah.
yes. Stonehill Inn is the inn where all respectable people and all of the visitors to the town stay, because
Okay.
Grista really basically would only rent rooms to the red brands.
Gotcha.
I have sort of an idea based on what Mason said earlier about Grista.
Okay.
We give it to the Stonehill Inn. Really like give it, but we make them pay tax us on it. It can be like their overflow.
Ah,
A rent-own type of situation.
Well, we should reserve like a couple of rooms in this place that if we can get them fixed up, whenever we're in town, they are strictly our rooms. Nobody comes in them.
We technically already have like the creepy tunnel castle place.
yeah, it's gonna be a while before Clark.
Vincent Armenia.
Yeah, before Clark and the goblins can get that to a point where you all would really feel comfortable being there, and Empress Amy's probably going to have to get her hands on that potion and figure out how to get control of that slime before you guys spend too much time there, or else you might wake up getting gnawed on.
Nom, 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 nom,
He only gnaws. He's cute about it. He won't eat anybody.
Oh,
Doesn't
don't worry
matter.
about him. He won't eat anybody.
He doesn't bite. He just disintegrates.
Ugh.
Hey, you want to pet you want to pet, or you want to see my pet chimpanzee? He's really nice.
Mhm. As he bites your hand off.
Yeah.
The apes.
All right. Okay, so there's an idea floated on the table. I don't know if I've heard unanimous consent on it. That the
Well, and it does give us a place to stay until
until
the
Trisenda-
castle
like
is
to wait.
ready. And we
for
can
it-
put a. So go
Mhm.
ahead.
Yeah, so this would be the temporary lodgings for the party. As soon as Trisenda Manor gets enough of it, you guys could have that as your temporary lodgings. And then as soon as the castle is reclaimed and set up, that obviously would be an ultimate goal. And maybe by the time you get the manor set up, you guys will have thought of a name for yourselves, and the manor can be renamed in your honor. And this inn, the annex for the Stonehill, they could turn it into, well, it's our place for very special guests. It's the whatever they're called, Adventurers Inn, because, and then they could tell people the story about how you liberated it from its former.
We saved them all. Yay! And there was much
You
rejoicing.
saved the town.
Yay.
Yes.
And a lot of funnel cake.
Yay.
A lot of what?
A lot of funnel cake.
A lot of funnel cake. Yeah.
See, it is the Funnel Cake Inn, or it's the Funnel Cake Specialty House. It's kind of like the Pancake House, but it has funnel cakes.
Funnel Cake House. The FCH, the Funnel Cake House.
Yep.
And so, all right, there's and I'm also unofficially going to say that that's a suggestion that is on the table, that for a potential name for the adventuring party is the Funnel Cake Crew. But you guys can perhaps come up with something more.
Funnel Creek Crew. No. You're going to have what? Major Cinnamon and Captain confectioner sugar, whatever they call that, powdered sugar.
Yes. Powdered sugar man.
Yeah. God.
Empress Cinnamon. And
there you go.
okay. All right. Yeah, we're getting
And the
crazy.
Doughboys.
Yeah. Captain Doughboy.
It's not Doughboy. It's Dubois.
Dubois. All right. Okay. So, do we all want to push forward with that plan and just sort of say for now, hey, Stonehill, set aside these rooms, but otherwise overflow down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's some money.
Funny.
Put a little bit of cleanup and work into them. I mean, that's
Okay.
just me.
Now, Master Stonehill, he's quite a good innkeeper, and he since maybe there's a couple of days that you're having the smithy work on the weapons, because it sounded like there were several weapons. So we'll just say that the smithy has been at work for one day, and he's got one more day of work to go. So Master Stonehill will ask for a meeting with you guys and with the town master, Harbin Wester, since the town master is kind of the legal authority, if you will, in the town.
For now.
And for now, and any kind of arrangements that are formalized get sort of drawn up by him, and everybody signs it and whatnot and he signs it as a witness. So Master Stonehill will come back to you on that second day after he's had a chance to walk through everything, and he will say, well, yes, you're right, there is going to be some structurally it's good, but we'll want to put a fresh coat of paint on it and spruce it up a little bit and whatnot, and he'll determine which rooms you all want, and we'll just say that you all have decided which ones those are. And there's two ways that I can see that we can do this. We understand that on an ongoing basis there will be a percentage, and whatever percentage you guys decide you think you would want of the profits that they make, that would go to the adventuring company as perpetual royalties and licensing fee. But he would propose that for the first whatever, let's say he's going to decide that it's going to take 500 gold to fix the place up. So for the first 1,000 gold maybe that they bring in, they would give the party 10% of the money that comes in, put the rest of it towards sprucing the place up and getting kind of a fund for ongoing maintenance. Then once that gets passed, they would maybe bump that percentage up to whatever your ultimate goal is, like maybe 25% or 50% or whatever you think of the profits from the operating costs. And of course, one of the things that he brings to this meeting is he brings his own ledgers, and he has absolutely no problem about opening up his ledgers to allow you and Harbin Wester to see exactly where his income comes from, how much he brings in, how much he has to spend, and blah blah. And he anticipates the same kind of, basically the same sort of revenues based on the size and the location of now what I think we're at least temporarily calling the Funnel Cake House. And that name, you can, at your discretion, he'll let you change the name if you want to down the road. But sort of the Funnel Cake Annex. And he also, he says that because it has its own kitchen and everything like that, that when there are big celebrations, that's an extra place they can go prepare food. So it can kind of be used when, even in times when they don't have overflow that they need to use it, they can still generate money by doing sort of catering out of the kitchen there, and it can provide some things. So he's clearly got ideas of how this could be run as a profitable business, and sort of can even give you a thumbnail of what he thinks the income would be for the next year or 3 years or 5 years based on what he's seen with the Stonehill Inn. And of course, if people find this mine that the dwarves have been looking for, that's going to bring even more people to town, and the business would only get better.
Cool.
So he kind of lays all that out and submits it for your approval.
I agree to that.
Okay. Any objection or any counter offers?
10% before it's fully renovated sounds like a good deal.
Okay. All right. Great. And he will also tell you that if any of the people that are working on your behalf on the renovation of Trisundar Manor, they will be able to stay there for a reduced rate. So, like if you have to bring in extra carpenters or masons or skilled workers to do stuff to help the bugbears and the goblins and whoever else might be working there out. And if you decide at some point that you're going to let the former Red Brands go and hire them on as labor, they would be included in part of that because hey, if they're working for Clark and thus for you guys, he considers it part of your group. And there's
that'll work.
some murmuring about the potential of having goblins sleeping at the inn, but Master Stonehill just says, "Oh, come on, they're people too."
That's funny. Okay, so do we need to sign anything? Are we good to go?
Harbin Wester will just sort of draw out the terms and have places for people to sign. And Master Stonehill will gladly sign, and then Harbin Wester will say that he'll draw up copies of the signed documents with the terms as specified, and Master Stonehill can keep one, and he'll have copies made for each of you, so you all can keep them as well.
Gotcha.
And then he will keep the master in his safe at the Town Master's Hall. And he has this nice little wax seal of the Town Master that he dribbles some wax on the original document after everybody signed it and puts the seal in it. So everybody knows, yep, this is official.
First time I didn't want to kill the mayor. It's a weird feeling.
We now property owners.
Hey, well, I mean, he's they're all kind of businessmen and everything, and this guy seems to be at least dealing with you all, and maybe it's because of Master Stonehill being part of it, or maybe he just really is not. Maybe he's just kind of a spineless guy, but otherwise he might be fairly honest. He isn't trying to sort of tweak any of the terms from what you all have discussed. He's just sort of faithfully recording everything that's being agreed to, and he doesn't try to push you one way or the other. If there's ever any disagreements and people ask his opinion, he will tell, but other than that, he lets you and Master Stonehill hash everything out.
Yay. All right,
so yes, now you guys have a money pit.
Never be broke.
AKA you go dig a pit in the back, and every time you get money, you throw it in the pit.
Yes.
We don't know if it won't be profitable yet.
Yeah. You have no idea whether it's going to make money or not. But
we just gotta hope these miners find the mine they need.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but pretty soon, once King Clark gets installed and starts having regular patrols, well, then you guys can start asking for tax revenue from the town, and then hey, maybe instead of killing the town master, you can get him to work for you.
There you go. Best way to do things.
Always trying to find a way around murder.
Yeah. Murder is the last resort when you absolutely positively have to get your way.
Yep. Oh, you won't let me have my way? Fine. that's how we're gonna play it. Fine.
And that's how I came to be ruler of the town.
Yes, and that's how Amira or Amy, Empress Amy, started with a town, then got a castle, then got a kingdom, then got an empire.
Empires with an S at the end.
Yes. Empires. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right. So now, we need a map. I will show you a map. And this map is more or less kind of accurate.
Ow.
But we're going to go over here to
What was that?
go over here to our town, and the Old Owl Well is the one thing that's kind of to the south. Then you have Thunder Tree where the Druid is over here, and then you have that watchtower. Is not at Coneyberry, but at the no, I'm sorry, the watchtower is at the Old Owl Well. What the heck did we say was at the Old Owl Well? Oh yeah, that was where the prospectors went. Old Owl Well is the prospectors. Then the Coneyberry. What you guys have heard of as Coneyberry as players is actually Cloppenwald. So retcon everything you've heard about Cloppenwald. That's where the Banshee is up here. Thunder Tree is the Druid. This is the old watchtower at Old Owl Well. And Cragmaw Hideout, that's where you first met Clark. And basically where you guys sent the horse, or where the kid sent the horse, was more or less kind of off this way.
I think that horse got far.
So, well, at least that's kind of the direction that they went. And so, depending on whether it went kind of up towards the foothills of these mountains or whether it kind of followed this place, it's sort of eventually it's going to either get to the ocean and stop, or it's going to go far enough in the mountains that some griffin or wyvern is going to go, ooh, breakfast.
Nom, 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 nom.
Double breakfast.
Pretty much.
So, which direction would you guys like to head?
Forward towards adventure. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, well, I'm voting the Old Owl Well just because I assigned all these places numbers and I rolled the
okay.
dice to pick one.
Okay.
Yep, I think that'll work.
So, Theolis, any objection?
Well, they pick it, I smash it.
Okay. All right. So you guys head off towards the Old Owl Well. Let's see. There's on. It's going to take you a couple of days to get out there. You've got all of your provisions and everything. And on the first day, everything is fine. On the second day, everything is fine. And you eventually come towards the Old Owl Well. As you crest a low ridge, you spy the crumbling ruins of an old watchtower standing amid the rugged hills. The place is so old that the walls are only mounds of rubble enclosing a courtyard of sorts, adjacent to the broken stump of an old tower. A colorful tent has been set up in the middle of the courtyard, but nobody is in sight. A colorful tent, you say? A colorful tent, you say? Yes, indeed, a colorful tent, I say. And we're going to do that. And I'm going to go to. No, I'm just going to move this here, and I'm going to bring us out. There is more or less a. This square represents the tent. I am going to give us a something to represent the courtyard, which will be this. This will be the. What's a good, nice old stone color? I think this is a good, nice old stone color. It's kind of a roundish tower, not completely round, but roundish. And yeah, okay, so we need to have, needs to be a little bit, come on. Oh, bother. There we go. And then it goes, it's kind of like here. So he's not exactly in the center. That's a better stone color. And then we'll just move that to the map layer. All right, and then we'll go grab tokens. We'll get Masons, and we'll get Theolis. And who all are you all bringing with you? Oh, whoops. Okay, come on. Oh. There we go. All right, so this is where are we? Mason. And Mason, did you get to second level after last week?
I did. I just I don't know how to level up my character.
Okay.
If I just click on level 2, will it adjust or?
I don't think so. We're using fixed hit points. So as a D4 character, you will get 3 hit points plus your con bonus for second level. So what is your con bonus? +1. So you would get 4 hit points, I think, for second
I'm
level.
getting more hit points.
Yeah, every level you get more hit points.
I completely forgot.
Oh, okay. So yes, you're also a D4, so you should get 3 plus your con bonus. And basically, the way the fixed hit points work, just as an FYI, you take half of what the hit die is, you add 1 to it. That's what you get per level, and then you add any con bonus on top of it. So
I'm getting 10 more hit points.
So
you're level 3 now, Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
So I get a max of 4.
You started at first level with what's your current hit
5.
points?
It was
5?
5.
So then, yes, you add 4 more, so you now would
Okay.
have 9.
Okay.
9 and 9. And then what's your armor class, real quickly, so I can update your token?
With me here. Too many places to poke.
I think it's going to be on the combat tab.
Yeah, let's see here. Combat. Movement armor class That doesn't look right.
Looks like a 5 total. So it's 7, and then your total because of Dex is 5.
What's Thaco?
Thaco, that's your 2 hit.
Ah.
Then you take a 19.
Oh,
to hit.
okay. Here it is. It says total of 5. So
Right. So 5.
armor says 7, but that says 5.
Right, because of your Dex bonus.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, and then Amy, you have 10 more, so you're now at 16. Is that correct? And Theolis.
Plus the con bonus, right?
Oh, yeah, you're a D4, so it would be 3 plus your con bonus. Do you have a +2 con bonus?
Yes, I have. I just put down 20. I didn't update for the second level either.
Okay. All right, let me take a look. At first level, you're going to have 4 plus your con bonus. So 4 and 2 would be 6. Then second level, you'll get 3 plus 2 is 5. So that's 11. And then third level, you'll get another 5. So that should be 16.
Okay.
Yeah. So 16 hit points. Yeah, let me go ahead and update that here. Whoops. And excellent. Then I'll get that. Oh, whoops. Okay, Amy, 16 and 16. All right. Now, Theolis. Looking at yours, it looks like you're still at level 2. So you're
Correct.
16 hit points and armor class of 3.
Correct.
Okay, so 16, AC of 3. Okay, and then which of your retainers or followers did you guys want to bring with you? Oh, whoops, I didn't show Mason's name, and I need to make sure that names are visible to all the players. Yep, that works. Names visible to all the players. Oops. There you go. All right. So who all is coming with?
My current vote is ShaunR and the Twin.
Okay. Sildar and the 2 Albon and Baker or Barker.
The Twins.
And we want to leave the goblins and Ripper behind. Goblins and the goblinoids and Ripper behind. Let me go bring this over here. Okay, there we go. All right. Let's see. Oh, these guys would have had 2 more days to heal up. So he's at 2. He's at full, and he's at full. All right. So Albon and Barker are both at full health. Sildar is 22 of 28 hit points. So
He'll be fine.
he should be fine. And presume that at some spot on here, because it's not really easy to do with the way the map layers and things work on Roll20, but presume that at 1 or 2 spots, and I'll just go ahead and freehand them thusly. There's a spot here down to, let's say, here. In between those, there's kind of a gap that you can walk over without having to even really. And then there's a gap that you can walk through. And then we'll say that over here, there's a gap that you can walk through. Otherwise, the stub of this tower is maybe, or this courtyard area is maybe at the most 5 or 6 feet tall, but at the lowest 3 or 4 feet tall, all around, except for those 3 spots that you can easily walk through without having to climb over anything. Whether that was the spots where gates were or whatnot, you really can't tell because it's so old and so broken down.
Might as well see what we're getting into.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And do you guys still have access to control the NPCs? Can you guys move around Sildar, Albon, and Barker? Yep. Okay, good. All right. So Amy, as you walk in and as Sildar walks in, there's a large red tent.
Curious.
And there's a pennant up on top of the tent, but it doesn't have any kind of sigil or heraldry or anything like that on it.
I'm going in.
Okay.
Okay.
I will ask if I kind of look at you and go, do you want me to go in first? Take a look around?
There's no point in dilly-dallying. Go in, see what we're getting into.
Okay.
Fully expect for something to try to kill me.
As you, okay, so Amy, you're heading in. All right. As you enter the tent, you see, well, while it's a traveling tent and there's a kind of a low bed that's set off in one corner and some braziers for light, and there's some flaps that are open in the roof to let sunlight in. There is a person in here, a man, and he is standing at a table that looks not entirely unlike the table in the laboratory at the manor house where the other wizard you met worked. And this man is a stout, red-robed figure with sallow skin, a shaved scalp, and a black tattoo on his forehead. And he looks up when the tent flap opens and he says, "What is the meaning of this?"
Well, the meaning of life is whatever you make it.
Who are you? Who are you, and why are you here disturbing my work?
I am Empress Amy. I'm here because I decided to walk into the tent first. I don't know why.
Empress. Empress, you call yourself an empress. By what authority do you call yourself an empress?
Oh, by my only authority that matters.
Oh, well, the Empress of the Sylvan Empire, may she live forever. She might have something to say about that, but that is beside the point. Uh, well, Empress, and you can tell that he puts like a real mocking tone into that. How may Hammond Cost be of service?
God, what a sleaze bag. Sorry. Was that my outside voice?
Do we actually have any questions for him, or did I just walk in unprepared?
I just came
Please
in on
does
this
walk
game,
in.
so
Can ask him, what's going on here, and why are there two weirdly shaped tents?
He says, I am working. I have my workmen over in the shell of the old tower. They are looking for something that is very important to me. It is a piece of research that I have been looking for years. I finally believe I have found that it is connected with this place, and I would submit that it is no business of yours.
That's very rude. I'm very interested, curious.
Go ahead and give me go ahead and give me a intelligence check, and anybody who walks into the tent can do so. See if you recognize anything about this guy's garb or about the uh, what I should say. Oh, about the garb or about the tattoo.
make an intelligence. I will be standing behind Amy to make sure that nobody sneaks up on her from the other side.
Okay.
Sorry, I've gotta find my.
Oops.
There we go. There it is.
So success, a good success from Amy. Oh, yeah.
That would be really good in any other game.
Yeah, Mason has not ever seen anything like this. All
I
right.
know.
All right. You recognize, Amy, that this is a tattoo that goes back, has a long history. You know that to the north, where the Sylvan Empire expanded, it eventually absorbed other isolated kingdoms and whatnot. And there was a kingdom that was known for some kind of dark arcane practices. And the kingdom is called Thair, Thair. So Whoops. Gonna do that. And Thayer. So Hammond Cost has a tattoo that evokes memories of the kingdom of Thayer. And you know that the kingdom of Thayer had been famous for, among other things, the practice of necromancy, where their wizards would raise the corpses and the skeletons of the dead and basically put them to work as their servants. And it was rumored, although you don't know whether it's ever was proven to be true or not, it was rumored that when the wizards of Thayer ran out of actual dead bodies to use, they were not above killing any convenient peasants that they found and turning their corpses into undead servants. But this guy's tattoo, oh yeah, looks like those tattoos you've read about and heard about and seen drawings of.
Okay,
Of course,
so
in the Sylvan Empire, there are laws against practicing necromancy. There are official, in a weird sort of way, there are official sanctioned necromancers that are licensed to practice necromancy on behalf of some of the churches and the imperial crown. But those people would be wearing official imperial garb, you would expect. This person is not. But at the moment, you don't see any undead around, so you don't know what this guy is really up to. Yep.
So I'm looking in the eye and I'm gonna say to him, I can tell 3 things about you just from looking around this room.
Oh, you can. And he kind of crosses his arms and he looks at you. This ought to be good.
Well, 1, no sense of decor. It's all messy in here.
I know where everything is.
Organized mess is still a mess.
That's one thing you know.
2, you're from there.
He raises an eyebrow and he says, a scholar then.
And 3, you're probably not legalized. So, proof for you.
Do you see any undead around?
Not at the moment, but you give off the vibe of like wanting to hang around dead people. There's literally no one else around either, except me, and I'm very lovely to talk.
Well, and Mason, did you actually go in, or are you standing at the...
I am basically guarding her back.
Okay. Are you trying to remain hidden, so that...
I basically
this
kind of,
person-
well, I'm shorter than she is probably, unless, how tall are you, Amy?
I think I made her 5'10".
Okay, 5'10". Yeah, she's kind of a
So I'm basically, if she's
And then I'm wearing
blocking the,
heels.
well, and if you're blocking the doorway, then basically he would have come up behind you and probably can pretty much hide behind her practically,
okay.
especially if it's like it's a tent, like flap for a door.
And Hammond Cost says, "Are you? Should I presume that you are foolish enough to be here on your own, making these accusations, or do you have friends with you?"
You can
I would-
definitely presume I'm foolish. I don't think that way. You can go ahead and say it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Mason is just very, very quiet and hasn't really moved since he got into position.
Okay. Do you think you just will come and murder me in cold blood and try to take what I have been searching years for?
Whoa, what? We just jumped from talking about there to murder. These are my good boots. I'm not killing anyone in them.
Okay, part of what you had said earlier cut off. So what were you asking about him? You said something about something being fair or something like that, Amira.
I don't remember saying anything about killing him. I think I remember saying he's from there.
Okay, from there.
And that he probably is a necromancer because there's nobody else around, and he seems to enjoy being by himself with no one talking to him, even though I'm lovely to talk to.
Okay. Well, perhaps he's just very suspicious about other people. But he seems to have jumped to the conclusion that if you are here, the only reason you would be here and coming is that if you were intending to either try to steal from him or do violence to him or something like that. So he seems kind of defiant in the face of that.
He
Not
needs new friends.
okay. You went a little robotic. Say that again.
He needs new friends.
Ah, okay. So he's just there waiting for your answer. So did you come to kill me, or do you merely wish to steal from me? Empress. And again, he says that with a lot of scorn.
Neither, because I have no idea what I'd be stealing. I just came to ask questions. Very curious.
Well then, ask your questions so I can get back to my work. What do you want to know?
What you working on?
Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have some questions of my own. If you're thinking of questions you have, I have questions for you. If you are familiar with these parts, there are a band of marauding orcs that have been spotted in the wilderness here. I heard that there are some ruins over at a place called Wyvern Tor. Perhaps some of the rumors that I've heard suggest that the orcs are over there. if someone had time on their hands and could deal with those orcs, I might be inclined to even offer them some reward for that. I have noticed them scouting in this area within the last 2 weeks, and I would not want them to come back. I don't suppose you know anything about orcs, do you?
Might have killed them before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, out of character, yes. You guys have already gone and dealt with the orcs over there. You killed them all. There was actually an ogre with them as well that you.
The exact ones
dealt
he's
with.
talking about.
Yep,
Oh.
an exact place he's talking about too.
When did he see them?
It was before you went after the red brand, so in game it was probably 4 or 5 days ago. Session wise, it was probably 5 or 6 sessions ago that we dealt with it.
Where did he say he saw them? It's like I immediately forgot where he said it.
Wyvern Tour, and that is where you found them and dispatched them.
Okay, I'm gonna say Wyvern. I think one of them hit me and I killed them.
Oh, really? Well, then it might seem that we have a similar purpose. That is certainly good news. I may be able to give you a bit of a reward after all. But tell me, there's another thing that is on my mind. I have reason to believe that what I am seeking is connected with the person who built this tower. Yet their name eludes me. I know it was from an ancient empire that predated the Sylvan Empire. And it was likely an elf of some sort. But I have not been able to determine the name. Rumors have reached my ears that somewhere in these parts, maybe in the ruins of a place that the locals call Kloppenwald, there might be a spirit, a banshee, and it could be that this banshee knows the name of the wizard who built this tower. I don't suppose you've heard of this banshee or spoken to it.
I want to say her name's Greta, like out of character. What was her name?
No, Greta was the person at the inn that you just sent packing off into the wilderness. The
That was Grista.
Grista. Okay. No, let me just double check. Agatha is the name of the banshee.
Yeah, I remembered it. I just gave her a nickname for some reason.
Okay. But yeah, Agatha is the name of the banshee. So he basically asks you if you've heard of this banshee or if you've spoken to the banshee. I'm just curious if you know the name of the wizard that built this tower, because he's heard that this banshee may know that name.
Agatha. We have not spoken to her, but I do plan on having tea with her. She seems nice.
Oh, You've heard the name Agatha. Ah, well, I didn't even know that that was the banshee's name. Oh,
Everyone
excellent.
has a name. Be rude not to learn it.
Well, yes, of course, they have a name, but I just had not heard. I had not heard. But yes, if you meet this Agatha, if you ask, um, if you could be a complete and wonderful person, uh, you could ask this Agatha, what is the name of the wizard who built the tower at the Old Owl Well? And if Agatha tells you, I would pay handsomely if you bring that information back to me. And since you have already dealt with the orcs, as I said, I believe that a reward is in order for that. Now tell me, do you or anyone that you might be traveling with, uh, do you have any use or knowledge of the arcane arts? You look like you might be able to handle a spell or two yourself.
She's at the hat. That was a bit dramatic.
Yeah, you know, you can't judge people always by the way they dress. But the fact that you don't appear to be wearing any armor and that you don't have a sword slung on your hip or a shield, and the hat, yes, it kind of made me suspect that you might be a fellow practitioner of the arcane.
Well, I'll never say no to a good spell.
And so he says, well then, you might be in luck. And he digs around and he pulls up a a scroll, and he says, yes. Well, this is one that you may find handy. I have not seen any of these creatures out here, but I prepared a few of these for myself, just in case. And I have an extra one here. And he pulls a scroll out from a sheaf of scrolls. He rolls it up and he hands it to you. And he says, this is a scroll of protection from lycanthropes. And so the scroll cost gives the party a scroll of protection from lycanthropes. Okay. All right. When read, this scroll will protect all those within. Within a circle, a 10-foot radius circle from you. Okay. 10-foot radius from caster for 6 turns, which is 1 hour. from a variable number of lycanthropes. Number affected according to their type as follows. So, werebats, were-rats, and were-foxes. It will protect you from 1d10 of those. Were-boars and werewolves is 1d8. 1d8 are affected. And then, what the hell is that? Were seals and were sharks. Yes, folks, in this edition, there are such things as were seals and were
I would love to pet a rare seal.
were
Which
seals and were
translates to I
sharks.
want to suck your blood. You know, it's vampires.
They want to suck your blood. Blah blah.
I'm having to clean up the text here because the scan that they use for the PDF for this rule set is, this is one of the few that I'm really not very happy with D&D Beyond, or not D&D Beyond, but DM's Guild about. When Wizards of the Coast found this copy, they really didn't do a good job of converting it to PDF. They didn't spend any time going through and cleaning up the scan so that it scans nicely, or you can copy and paste nicely out of it. So there's were seals and were sharks, 1d6. Were bears and were tigers, 1d4, and devil swine, 1d2. So I'm going to put this in the party treasure handout and put it in the Discord so you guys have access to it. Okay. All right, so, and then I will put this in the party treasure handout. Yes. Where's party treasure? Okay, so this is whoops, edit from session. Okay. All right. Session 13. Just a sec. And then scroll from, what the hell is this guy's name again? Hammond cost. Hammond cost. Okay. Is a scroll of protection from lycanthropes. B. Okay. That's now in your party treasure handout. as well as in the Discord. So I think Amy will have to use that, but anybody who stands within 10 feet of you when you read it, if you run into any lycanthropes, you can use that. Now, if you get an opportunity to do so, there are some rules. And in this edition, you run the risk of destroying the scroll if you botch it up. But there are some rules of where you can try to copy that to either make, there's a cost involved, there's time involved, to either make that a scroll. I want to just double check to see if there's actually a protection from lycanthropes spell. Because in this edition, just because something was on a scroll doesn't necessarily mean it's actually a spell in the spell book. Eventually, they got to the point where they said, "Oh, well, things that are on scrolls would be." Let's see, protection from. Yeah, there's not really a protection from lycanthrope spell that I can see there. There, let's see. Protection from. Nope. So you could copy the scroll onto other scrolls, but you can't put it in your spell book because it doesn't exist as an actual spell. Weird. But that's one of the things they did in this old edition. All right. And so you guys now get this treasure from Hammond Cost. And he says, "Oh, look at the time." And you realize when you all look at the time that, hey, we're at the end of our session. So
Perfect segue.
yes. So you encountered this guy. He's a little bit creepy. He's a little bit
creepy.
A little rude.
Okay.
a little bit creepy, a little bit thing, but hey, he's actually willing to give the party loot for stuff that you've done, and he says that the information about the builder of this tower would be very valuable, and he could offer perhaps something even more valuable to you if you could bring him that information when you talk to Agatha. Now, the reason that you guys came out here is that Prospector said they had found undead in this area. As of yet, you have not seen any undead. And so, whether you guys want to start next session by hanging around and investigating further, or whether you want to say, "Oh, cool, free stuff, let's go and see what's next on the list."
Okay.
I'll let you guys decide that. Also, I believe I have, pretty sure that I have the thing up and open on this particular. Oh, okay. Actually, I don't, because we had a couple of people, but nobody's actually showed up. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and since Z and Sean have bowed out of the game, I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the game, and that should open up the looking for players, and we'll see if anybody if anybody decides they want to join us, if any of you know somebody that would like to pick up another game and has Saturday night free, you can go ahead and let them know, and they will, we can invite them to the game to join us.
Cool.
Okay. And then that will be okay. So that's all right. So that will, yeah. Then I'll go ahead and open this up. And for those of you who have been on the stream with us tonight, thank you very much. For those of you who watched during the week, we appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you again next week as we come back and we continue investigating what's going on at this tower. And then we start at some point tabulating the party's ongoing income from their the inn that they are getting royalties from. So we'll see how that goes.
Yay.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys for playing. Travis, it was great to have you back tonight. And I think next week we definitely, we spent a lot more time in town than I thought we were going to spend tonight.
We had to get revenge. It was important.
But next week, definitely there should be some opportunities now that we're out in the wilderness to find something to hack and slash and blast with spells. Mason gives you a week to go ahead and level up. If you have questions about leveling Mason, just drop them in Discord during the week, and I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna need help with that. So
okay, I can give you.
I have to find a second level spell. Add to my spell book.
Okay, I can give you. Okay, I'll
I hate to bring it up, but she found Fireball last session I was in. It's a little bit of a reckless spell, but I believe it's a level 2.
Does that count as like my second level spell, or can I like get that and something else?
Okay, that was a scroll, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just double check and see here. The Fireball in this edition. Actually, in this edition, Fireball's a 3rd level spell.
Okay. Now with it, it doesn't focus on a target. It's just a direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you find that on a scroll? Is that where we found it? Because you won't be able to add it to your spell book until you can actually cast 3rd level spells. But if
I'll just save it till then.
Yeah, if you hang on to it, you'll then be able to put it in your spell book. So yes, to answer your question, yes, you can find another. Okay, great, and it's going to do this to me because it's going to give me. Okay, it's going to try to.
I do see a useful spell though.
Yeah. All right, I'll have to put together that list and give it to you in Discord. I'll send you a message with those in it because, again, the way this PDF is rendered, if you try to capture the list of 2nd level spells, it wants to capture all the 1st level and 3rd level along with it. So you have to kind of massage the list and put it together. And then any of the questions that you have questions about, or any of the spells you have questions about, you can let me know. Some of them are the same things that you would find in 5e, and some of them are stuff that is no longer in the game anymore. So If you're not familiar with the old rules, you would know what it is. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here, and I will talk to you guys next week. Stream. Thanks for hanging out.
Yay.
And everybody, continue to be safe and continue to stay healthy. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. The beauty, if you will, about the system we have is that there are a lot of devolved powers, and that means that things like distributing vaccines and stuff are sort of left up to the states to figure out by design. And, well, they don't, clearly, they all don't have contingencies in the books for what do you do when a once a century pandemic hits, and how do you get people vaccinated in an efficient
It's
manner.
always the 20s,
This is
1820,
let's just say
1920.
I work for a health department. I got my vaccine. However, my vaccination came at we have a couple of spare shots worth in these bottles because there's always a little more than,
Yeah.
and so when they get done giving everybody else shots, we're all on a list at the health department and they're like, okay, we've got 4 of these. So they're calling people and like, can you make it in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
And so then we're, those of us that can, we're rushing in to go get our shot. So,
Well, good.
we're kind of getting the dregs of what's left.
Now, from my understanding of all of the ones that are available in this country now, that is the first of 2, or have you had both?
It's the
of
first
them?
of 2. You have
So
to
it's
wait
like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or
3,
something.
4 weeks between. Yeah. They give
Okay.
you a
All
little
right.
card that gives, like with us, they gave us a card with a batch number on it. And then what they do is then they have a return date on those. So,
Okay.
but again, who knows if that's when you're going to get your next shot because they're still trying to get through
Yeah.
all of this other stuff. So,
Yeah. Theoretically, now that they're in production, they're ramping up the production. But who knows in reality if they are keeping up with the demand for cranking more and more out. It sounds like they've distributed quite a bit, but just a fraction of what's been distributed has actually been put in people's arms at this point. So it
well,
seems like the
yeah,
bottleneck is more at the delivery end than the production end. So
right.
at least that's
Well, and then they've got that system where it's like, okay, first you have first responders, people that are,
Yeah.
in the emergency rooms, that kind of stuff. And then
right.
they kind of go down from there, and then you have high risk and then go down from there. So it's a matter of scheduling clinics, scheduling and getting people in there and
Right.
making sure. So like we've got, what is it? We've got the health department was delivered the Moderna, something like that,
Okay.
that one. However,
Which is the one that
Pfizer,
doesn't have to be frozen, right? It doesn't have
right?
to be kept
But
so cold. Yeah.
the one at, so like we have 2 hospitals. One of them's a children's hospital, and they got Pfizer, and all of the people in the hospital, all of their staff got shots. I mean, even people that don't have access to any of the sick people, all got shots, and they had enough left over that this initial batch they were looking at starting to move on to workers' families.
Right.
So, but with what our health department has received so far, it's not hit and miss. It's just we have to go through this list in exact order,
Right.
and the health department workers are not top on this list. So we just get whatever's left over if they have anything left over when they're done for the day. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
hey,
And some of the states already are modifying their plan because now they realize, oh wait, we have more of this stuff. Ooh, that means we can start distributing it faster because they had some of them had put together this list. Okay, all of these people first, then these people, then these people, then
Mhm.
these people, and it's like, oh wait, now we have enough we can do. All right, well let's just lump all these people in. But
Yeah,
then, of
exactly.
course, when you do that, you've planned for one thing. Now you're doing something else, and you have to sort of, as the saying in the tech world goes, you have to sort of build the plane as you're flying it.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah. Well, and this has been a learning curve for everybody. I mean, even the CDC, even though they have like
sure,
they were prepared supposedly, they've got all these drills and everything. They were not prepared.
yeah,
They didn't have stuff prepared down to what do we do with our workers?
Mhm.
So anyway, are we still live or
Well, yeah, I thought that was that. I think that was kind of an interesting discussion for folks.
yeah.
Of what's going on,
Just
real
basically
time.
where people are
Yeah.
working to get you the shots, but they have a certain order and then like he
Mhm.
said, the state will decide,
Yeah. Okay, stream. Good night. I'm going to
Good
say
night.
goodbye to you all. Bye.